Good afternoon, everyone. Um, just as you were asking the connection between Africa, we had a really wonderful conversation. I didn't hear that I would be called. But happy to be here today, and glad to be part of this 25th anniversary. And because of so many links, and thanks, Claudine, for making this happen. I think the first link is really the African connection. What you're doing in Africa, I want to really have everybody thanks Claudine for this. And I explain the relevancy of that in a few minutes. The second link is Ashoka, which is a global network of social entrepreneurs. And these are leading social entrepreneurs who have the potential of reaching 1 million people minimum. And I think if you're using One Africa, I remember one of the reports that we had with MasterCard, your chart was way above the others because we selected 26 African social entrepreneurs to work with MasterCard to change systems. So Young Africa was one of the top. I think it was around 800,000 people reached at that time. I don't know if you have that report. So that's really the second connection. The third connection for me, it's really the link between Africa and the rest of the world. Because I was born in Senegal, grew up in the Gambia, have done work with Discord, have done work with COPI, which is the Italian corporation, with ACD and JICA, the Japanese, and ended up going to the US and for school and work, and ended up going back to Africa in 2016, which is for me one of the best moves because it helps me to reclaim my Africanness. Because at some point, spending too much time in the West, you get to lose, your African part. And you might understand that because of how things work. You can pay the bills from home, you can fix your car from home, you can do everything from home. So that entrepreneurship mindset and that physical activity you tend to lose and you become lazy. So I was really happy to move back. And now I'm based in between Nigeria, Senegal, and Washington, D.C. But the reason I really wanted to share with you today is where the world is going right now. We are dealing with what we call the them versus us. In everywhere that you see, there is a lot of them versus us. And that's what we call the new reality. The whites, the blacks, the haves, the dogs, the Muslims, the Christians, the poor, the rich. So there is a lot of finger pointing right now in this world. But Africa does matter to the world. Why? If you look at 30% of mineral resources of the world is in Africa. If you look at 80% of natural resources in Africa is in the world. If you look at 40% of the world gold is in Africa. Africa has 65% of arable land. You can name it, a lot of things. So there are a lot of opportunities there that can be done. And anybody can come there and do work. However, there are things that we are missing. There's a lot of good things. The beaches, the friendliness, the hospitalities, all those good stuff are there. And we have a role to play in geopolitics and world economics in Africa, given our demography. In 1950, Europe has twice the population of Africa. In 1950, that's not a long time ago. Right now, it's the opposite. Africa has twice the population of Europe. By 2050, Africa will have 3 times the population of Europe. And you know how many will be by 2100? 7 to 8 times the population of Europe. Just let's reflect on that for a second. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be both. So it's up to us to choose what it should be. It could be good, because if you have 7 times the population of Europe, you have a big market there in terms of business. You have also a big opportunity at knowing that people will be knocking on your doors. I just came from New York, and I was talking to a good friend of mine who's working for the mayor of New York, telling me that people are not happy these days with the mayor. And I asked why. said New York has open door policy when it comes to immigration. So all those people around the world who are going through Nicaragua, coming into the US, they will be shipped to New York because New York has open door policy. In other states, they don't have that. They will want to kick them out, or once they are in, ICE, which is the immigration agency, will bring them to New York. And how do you deal with that? With people who are keep coming. And now the African American communities are upset because they're saying, how come we've been here for 400 years? The government is not really taking the time to support us. They're taking the time to pay for these people's food. They're paying for these people's flight tickets, something housing, and even to ship them if they have to ship back. So they're spending. So that really tells you that everywhere in this world there's problem. I want to mention Lampedusa, actually close to you. You know what's happening, but I know you know. So I'm saying that to say skill is what's needed. If people really don't have the skills, the tool, to be able to really work for themselves, to be able to acquire their own dignity, things will be challenging. And that will continue, that will perpetuate the whole mentality of them versus us. We are in the world where we need to create our own framework. And that's being done first by social entrepreneurs, because the rate of problems is faster than the rate of solution creation. We create more problems than solutions in this world. What can we do? So each one of us should ask, what is my role in these problems that we are creating in this world? It can be unintentional, because I don't think anybody will want to create a problem intentionally. But what needs to be intentional is what is our role in creating solutions, and what is our role in making sure that we have more solutions than problems. And that's the role of social entrepreneurs, who are doing that everywhere, not only in Africa, but everywhere. But the reason why Africa matters the most is these things that I mentioned. In terms of market and business expansion, with that population growing, we have 3% of population growth, 3%. Everybody else, you have 1% to 2%. Africa has 3%. So our expansion rate is really 3 times faster than any other continent. So sooner or later, you will feel it if you don't feel it already. But let's see it as an opportunity. Let's take those organizations like Young Africa. Let's ask ourselves, our businesses, our own organizations, what can we do to build skills? What can we do to empower these people? What can we do to give them back their dignity so they can stay where they are? Or even if they want to move, they can move, but if they have the skills, they can move. I spent almost 20 years in the US. But when I moved, I was really happy to move. And I'm happy to stay there. But I'll be traveling, of course, to learn and share. And I think that's really the best. But all of this, like I said, is a framework that needs to be built. The first thing is, if you want to get rid of the them versus us, we need to think about empathy. We need to care about each other. We need to care about our neighbors. And to be able to care, you have to put yourself in somebody's shoes to understand them. We have different values and beliefs and expectations and assumptions. We do. We believe in different things. We assume different things. We expect different things. Expectations should be communicated. If you expect something and you don't communicate it, the person will not know. And you might hate or have a problem with that. And this is what's happening between organizations and governments. Communicating expectations. We have different values. The values that we have are definitely our identity. But values are pretty much learned. They're part of culture. I cannot only do something that I've been living for 25 years. Either I'm a European or African or something. But what I can do is to test my assumptions. What I'm assuming and not knowing, I need to test it. Because if we use that framework based on empathy, of really checking our values and beliefs and expectations, and then we figure out a way that we collaborate. If we cannot initiate, not everybody is an entrepreneur, But if I cannot, I have or know somebody who's an entrepreneur that I can support or bounce back ideas and provide help. It is exactly what we're doing. The second is we have to really challenge what the status quo. In this world, we need to have difficult conversations. Things that are not moving as status quo, we need to really challenge it. Why this table is round? We need to ask the question. If we leave it this round, we'll never innovate. So let's ask why this table is round. Should it be round in the next 5 years? Should it be round in the next 10 years? Why it was round, maybe it was something else. But why it should stay round? That's really challenging the status quo. We all need to think about how to do it. And I think it's in that sense that Africa's success is the world's success. Africa's failure is the world's failure. And Africa is not tomorrow. I hear a lot of people saying Africa is the future or it's the next point. No, it's the absolute mistake to believe that it's tomorrow. It's today. We cannot contend what's happening right now. In terms of politics, I won't say, you know, who's from who, but I won't say, you see what's happening. There is a lot of movement, a lot of opinions. In terms of economics, you see what's happening. There is a lot of businesses that are growing, that are selling, because they're seeing it as a market. But what we need to also shift our mind is that Africa is not only a market. It's a place to develop skills, to develop work talents, for people to get out of Africa and do work outside of Africa, help connect and work with the rest of the world, help give them the culture, give them the background, give them the understanding, but help them expand their businesses into Africa because they know the local culture. So that's talent. It's not only a market, you should also know that it's now, Africa is now, it's trend. So because of that, I really thank you, Dorian, for what you're doing, and thank you all the organization, all the supporters who are here, and inviting and challenging each one of us to think, how are we connected to Africa from where we're sitting? Our work and our work in our countries as well. If I don't do anything, what will be the cost of inaction? Let's think about it from house and household perspective. If I'm sitting here in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and I don't do anything, what is the cost of my inaction? Will somebody be knocking on my door? Will it be impacting the government foreign aid? Will it impacting the government policies? Will it be impacting security? Will it be impacting employment or talent that I'm attracting? I'm not going to respond to that, but I just want each one of you to ask yourself, what is the cost of my inaction in this globally connected world where Africa has the youngest population, the fastest growing population, the biggest arable land, most of the mineral resources are there. What is the cost of inaction? Thank you so much.